Hi, Gretel Jane here, relationship coach and trauma therapist for separated parents. Today, I want to talk a little bit about why it's so important to include your body in any healing, trauma, personal development work that you do to really get to the bottom of the negative patterns of behavior and feeling that you have going in your system, which is the whole reason why you're doing the personal development and the healing work in the first place. So the first thing to say is that trauma is a human condition. It's something that affects all of us. So it's not just something that affects someone who is randomly bashed one night in a dark alley, or a particularly traumatic event like a house fire happens or something like that. They're very traumatic events, but they're one-off, they're acute, and yes, they cause they can cause trauma in the body. And it's worth saying at this point that trauma is not what happens to us. It's not the fire, it's not the accident, it's not the someone interacting with us in an inappropriate way. The trauma is not what happens to us, it's what happens in our body as a result of what happens to us. It's really important to understand that, because for some people, the particular thing that happened may not affect them in the same way as it does for someone else. Which explains why, soldiers that come back from the war and they've experienced, all kinds of traumatic events, some soldiers will be deeply traumatized by what they've experienced, and others may may continue and become PTSD, and it's something that they hold on to and gets trapped in their system. It's something that they continue to struggle with, whereas another person may experience a traumatic event, but it may move through them in some way. So, just really lightly touching on that, but trauma is not what happens to us. It's what happens in our body as a result of what happens to us. It's that imprint that happens in the body when something traumatic happens. So, the disturbances that happen, like the things that we're seeking, the healing work, the personal development work, the things that we're struggling with, the repeated patterns, the repeated ways of feeling, are imprints in the body, essentially, that are often connected to an emotion or set of emotions that are all bundled up together, which we then put a story on top of, which becomes our belief system. And all of this is our system's way of keeping us safe, right? But ultimately, this thing that we're struggling with is the result of an imprint in our body. So this is why working with the body is absolutely crucial in any healing journey. And honestly, it hasn't been a part of our mental health system for a very long time. It's starting to come in a little now, but getting to know yourself and moving back to the truth of who you really are means that you need to work with your body. And this is not to say that working with belief systems, talking things through, and doing inner child work, imagining things like that, are incredibly powerful and absolutely have their place in all the work that I do with my clients, actually, much of the work that I do. However, I just want to say in this video that including the body somewhere is really important. Actually, including the body, the felt sense of what happened to you is really important at the same time. And healing work that includes the body too is so powerful, because if you only do inner child work, and this is something that I've experienced too very early on in my healing journey, or my working on my stuff journey, it was only inner child work that I did, and I found that I could heal my inner child in my imagination, and that was incredibly powerful. However, I found that there was still a contraction, a disturbance, a sensation of the thing that happened that was still in my body, and I was still struggling with the thing. And, it's because this sensation, this part of you, this contraction hasn't been touched during the imagining and feeling and, changing of belief systems that comes with, a lot of the work that you can do on the disturbances, on the traumas that happen to you. So leaving the body out can actually cause you to dissociate further, actually. And it can actually perpetuate that mind-body split that is so common in all of us in the West. We are so much in our heads, with these little disembodied heads walking around everywhere and interpreting the experience that's happening down here. Like, oh my God, I don't, and most of the time we're not comfortable with it at all. The negative stuff, oh my God, I don't want to feel that. And we push it away. We want to escape from it in some way. However, noticing and acknowledging it is a super powerful thing to do. And when we come down out of our intellect, our incredible neocortex up here, which makes sense of everything and, keeps us processing and is incredibly powerful in its ability to ask questions about the possibilities, be curious about the world. When we come down out of that incredible intellect and into the wisdom of our body, that's when we can really start to work with what's happening down there and start to move through those negative patterns of behavior and ways of feeling that we're experiencing. So important to include the felt sense. And, it's something that so many of us are not even familiar with. And it is a little bit of a journey to get to know it. And just like building any relationship, it's a little bit like that. It's like starting to get to know what that feels like. It might be a little bit unfamiliar at first, but little by little, you can become more and more familiar with this, and including your body in the work that you do on yourself is just so important. I can't stress it enough. The first thing that you can even do if you've never looked at doing this work before could be literally just getting quiet and breathing and just noticing how your body feels. Have you ever done that? How often have you done that recently? Just literally noticing how your body feels. You may put your feet on the ground, and actually for a lot of people, when you start to notice what's happening in your body and noticing the parts of you that are maybe more relaxed than others, parts of you that feel completely relaxed, other parts that don't. The parts that often feel more relaxed and more grounded are your hands and your feet. Often your feet feel sort of rooted to the earth in some way. And so that can feel quite grounding for you. So really getting to know that feeling of being grounded and, what that feels like in your body, just really allowing yourself to sink down into those feelings can be really powerful in starting to get to know what's happening down in your body and get the wisdom of your body too. And just anything else that's happening, the parts of you that are maybe not relaxed, parts of you that are a little bit tense, a little bit on edge, whatever it might be, just noticing those too and acknowledging them and allowing them to be there without needing to be any different. So we're not trying to relax them or do anything particular. We're just noticing and acknowledging that they're there and just letting them be there without needing to be any different. So that's just a really great way to start, actually. I mean, there's a lot to this working with the body, and it, including it in the therapy, the work, the personal development, whatever it is that you're doing is powerful, as I've been saying. But, just starting with that noticing and doing it as a daily practice, even just the first few minutes of when you wake up in the morning, just noticing how your body feels. And, if you feel nothing, that's okay too. It's actually absolutely fine. It's, feeling nothing is something too. So not judging whether you feel something or not feel something or, whatever is really perfect too. So just notice what's there. And, it can be helpful for some people at the beginning to move their body, not for others. Some people, it's not helpful, and it can feel very uncomfortable at first. So just the noticing and acknowledging is enough to start with. Just notice that, just notice what's happening. Sometimes moving your body can be really powerful. If you already do some kind of yoga practice or some kind of morning or afternoon or whatever time practice that involves your body, see if you can do it a little bit more consciously, a little bit more mindfully in terms of how your body feels. Even if you're going for a run, just notice how different parts of your body feel. What's there? Just notice and acknowledge. And I'm really interested to know in the comments down below how you go with this, whether it's, something that you completely struggle with, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, or whether it's something you really, and that's fine, by the way, or whether it's something that, you've never done before and you'd like to try, something that you have a practice going already. Let me know where you're at. Let me know how you feel about this content in this video. Let me know if it's a brand new concept for you. It is for most people. Actually, it was for me when I first started my journey. But since I've discovered it, and to just be gentle and compassionate and including my body in the whole thing without trying to escape from what I'm feeling in my body, just starting to notice and acknowledge it has been the most powerful thing. And it's absolutely the way I work with my clients too. And the results are unbelievable when you really start to get to know that felt sense of your experience. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. If you did, like and subscribe so that you can receive all of the videos that I post in here. And yeah, can't wait to see your comments. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.